In today's podcast, I'll be talking about the inability of some people to actually give love. I found this a really interesting lesson for me. I didn't realise it was actually happening, and then when I realised it, I thought it was really interesting to share this with you. So this is from my book, It's All About Love, and today we're doing the chapter on the inability to give love. Some people can love us, yet are unable to give us love. It is an illusion to believe that if someone loves us, they will give us love. The fact that they have love for us can blind us to this reality. Many individuals struggle with showing their love in words and deeds. Many individuals withhold love. Typically, it is a power play, and if challenged, most of them would deny it. They will tell you that they do love you. Once I understood this dynamic, it became obvious to me who gave their love easily and who did not. And by searching through our list of loved ones, it becomes clear. Love is an energy that we can feel coming towards us. It is flowing into our hearts and lives. When we are with someone who can't give love, nothing seems to be coming back. We know they love us, although emotionally we can't feel the love. In some situations, we might be able to accommodate this difference, but ultimately it will cause a divide and destabilize the long-term future of the relationship. Domination, power, and anger issues feature often with withholders, and their games may continue for decades. Withholding love is a cruel and cold-hearted practice, and those who are deprived are the ones who pay. Although we know they love us, we cannot feel it. The sense of withholding is hard to put into words. Nevertheless, our feelings are not wrong. Time, effort, and support are not returned, and in this kind of relationship, that is how it is. In adult relationship, it should be an equal flow of love back and forth. Yet in this relationship, it is all one-way traffic. There is a correlation between withholding love and holding on to power and control. Their refusal to give love does not mean they do not love us. However, the more they love us, the more it can perpetuate the problem. If they believe that by loving us we exert some kind of power over them, then by keeping the upper hand and not giving love, they regain it. Only the withholder can decide to change. Unless they are willing to give up this behaviour and stand in love, it will probably never happen. People who struggle to give love are carrying unresolved emotions. Although we are on the receiving end, it is their issue, not ours. Maybe our role is to simply show them what love is. To be loved by someone like this is a painful and unrewarding experience, and frequently people who love in this fashion can only love conditionally. With certain individuals, all we have is the knowledge that the love is there. This is a hard truth and difficult to come to terms with. However, given time, we may get used to it. Love unexpressed can be worse than not being loved. Only you can know whether this is acceptable. With particular people, I've been able to accept their actions and be with them regardless. Understanding the dynamics at play made it simpler and more palatable. Still, it was not how I wished the relationship to be. Knowing they did love me made it better, but emotionally I could not fool myself into believing it was a great situation. With others, I chose not to invest as much emotionally, or I just stopped investing. In the end, if it becomes unbearable, we always have the choice to leave the partnership. If you are living in this scenario, don't move in too close. It will make everything worse. The best solution is to stand back and not be as giving. When people experience this gap, they're more likely to want to step forward. It will also protect you, to some degree, from incurring more hurt and disappointment. When I first realised that people will love you but be unable to give you love, it made sense of a lot of the troubles I was having, particularly throughout my life. I knew intuitively that they did love me, but when I checked in, I could feel that they didn't really want to give it. And this is very much to do with their issues, however you are on the receiving end. I read the book, The 5 Languages of Love, which I recommend you look at, which said that we show our love by many different ways. We do service to people. We might say words of affirmation. We might give gifts, quality time, or we might give physical touch. You might find you don't get these things very much. You just get taken care of in a dutiful kind of way, and there's like a vacant place there. You can feel that you're sending lots of love to them, but you don't feel it's coming back. You can't feel it. And I think that's the best way for you to gauge how the relationship is, because it's what you feel, really. It's not what they sort of say or do. It's what actually you feel. Of course, there is the actions, and actions and deeds, as I've said earlier, will show love, because these are gestures in many ways of love. And love is a doing. To love is a verb. It's an action. I suppose it's also something that we need to look at long term in relationships. I found that there was usually damage for these people in some ways around their heart, and definitely very big power struggles. They come from a power and control relationship, which actually withholds them from being loving. I spoke to someone once who told me, it was a close family member, that they didn't like loving me that much because it made them feel vulnerable. So they didn't actually like it, which I had never understood that before. But their perception was that by loving me a lot, they lost power, and they didn't like that and felt they had to exert the power back by withholding it. And they did do that. They did that for a long time and actually never ceased doing it. I think some of it's genetic, some of it is learned. But I think once we see what we're doing, we can always change everything. You don't have to be held to the past. You don't have to be held to old patterns of behaviour. You see them. You decide whether you want to do it anymore, and don't do it. I try to be very generous in giving love. Of course, I'm flawed like everyone else and don't always get it perfectly right. But people need you to express it, or give them presents, or hug them, or give them attention, spend quality time, like that other book said. These are the things you can really do. And these things will actually make it better. A big hug, a big kiss. If you're experiencing the feeling that you love certain people and you're not being filled up on your love bucket's not being filled up, I think you're probably right. You could actually talk to them if you want to, and show them the things that you like, that you would like them to do for you, that will actually help you make me feel more loved. And then they do have a choice. However, most people are fairly stubborn. I've noticed that people who don't give love because it's power, they just won't perhaps give it up. So I'm just wishing good luck. I didn't do really well with that person I spoke about earlier, but I did try, and I kept loving unconditionally. And that's the other thing you have to understand, that if they love conditionally, there will be conditions, and you will have to jump through hoops. And you don't have to, but there will be conditions, and love will be withdrawn from you as a punishment as well. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, they will withdraw love and shut you out, which is different to having time out to heal from something, or if it's too painful, you can't be in it. That's a completely different scenario. I will continue to work on this, in a sense, to understand it and make sure I don't do it, because we are all products of our upbringing and our gene pool. If you want to change it in yourself, love unconditionally, and use all the means you can to show love. If you don't want to deal with it with certain people, you can have a little bit of time out. You can maybe speak to them, as I said. You can change it in many ways. But ultimately, everyone has the choice when they love someone whether they want to give it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to give it. To me, that's all I want to do, is be loving and give love. However, we are all different, and we need to accept that other people do it differently. When I found this out, I remember I woke up one morning and just knew it. Everything then made sense to me. I understood it. But understanding it intellectually is different to dealing with it emotionally. They're two different areas. And I have still found that it does hurt. It is upsetting, and it also can make you really, really angry. So these are normal human relationships that you will have. It's like, give it to me, and they don't want to. So good luck with it all. I'm still working on it. I'm still observing it. But it's a very, very useful piece of information to know. I hope you have a loving week. I hope lots of people give you love. And if not so, be the person who gives love, because in the end, we can only be the best we can be, and what other people want to do is their path and not ours. Love to all.